I think the super critical thing, right, is like first, internally, everybody has to be on the same page. Being a sports fanatic, I use the analogy that we all wear the jersey name on the front and not on the back. How do you get employees more efficient, right? If there are 5 project management tools, like if I'm working with marketing, I have to go to this one. If I'm working with IT, I have to go to, as an end user, there's that component as well. And I think that's the key thing, right? If you, of course, when I'm talking to the CFO, I lead with the dollars because you got to speak the CFO's language, but you got to approach it holistically. IT has that vantage point. We can bring everybody to the table, that everybody has that seat, everybody gets the same information at the same time, so we can make those decisions. And honestly, those decisions are not just in the short term, but in the long term. Where do we need to consolidate? Where is it that we have gaps, etc.? And then having like the data, right? Like we live in a data world. You got to have the data, and everybody should have access to the data in terms of spend, in terms of how are we managing growth, in terms of working with FP&A, for instance, about with headcount projections. How are we provisioning licenses? I'll use the box example where it worked really well, where we had we'd send out like monthly decks to departments, quarterly decks to e-staff, where everybody knew what new tools are being added, what's coming up for renewal, what's kind of the strategic things we're going after, where do we need to do an RFP? Because again, as a vendor, if we go to Salesforce, 3 months before the renewal, they know we're not going to replace Salesforce 3 months. You need more lead time, and I think that's kind of where you gotta have all those kind of data-driven internal alignment. And then as you're approaching from a vendor perspective, it's not just about that's where looking for vendors that are going to be that strategic partner that I can grow and scale with. Because as an IT leader, where I can consolidate on platforms, I don't need to worry about integrations because everything's going to be in fewer platforms that then talk to each other. And I think that's the simplistic view that yes, cost savings is a benefit, but it's also where coming back to the business process and workflow, it's easier for me to scale that. It's easier for me to secure that. And that enables more automation, etc., that we can build on top.